Hey, Queen, welcome back to Flip the Script, a podcast for spirit led women entrepreneurs that are the rule breakers, black sheep, and visionaries who are ready to be the director of their own lives. So, the purpose of this podcast is to plant seeds of abundance, activate you, and help you shift into your highest timeline. So the only thing that you need to do is to just be willing and decide that you are ready to activate your purpose and live a life that turns you on. I'm your host, Angie. I'm your money mindset and business coach, and I'm here to have deep conversations with you and remind you of your God given gifts so that you can build a conscious business and life that is rich and purposeful. So, today's episode is pretty much a bold reminder that if you want to get paid, seen, and be fulfilled in your business, you have to stop thinking like an employee. So, this is going to be your invitation to step into your spiritual CEO era and let go of the permission seeking hustle mentality that a 9 to 5 world has conditioned you to think, but has conditioned you to believe that it is the safe way of being, it's the safe way of existing. Because the truth is, that mindset is actually what's blocking you from your money, from your confidence, and from your God-given gifts. So let's get into it, Queen. So most of us were raised to be good workers, not leaders, not visionaries, especially not disruptors of the system, right? So it's important to come to an understanding that the 9 to 5 mindset is designed for your obedience, not so much for you to build true wealth. Okay. So the 9 to 5, what it teaches you is the following. So it's going to teach you to follow the rules, or else you must ask always for permission before doing anything or even thinking about a different position and moving up in a company or whatnot. Only take the next step if you are qualified enough. It teaches you to wait to be told what to do, that working long and harder is rewarded, that you must always stay busy, focus on tasks and to-do lists. Like that's what your job is. Always be busy, 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 busy. If you're not busy, if you're resting, if you're taking a break, like that's not rewarded. It's actually frowned upon. A 9 to 5 teaches you that your value is measured through the hours worked, your achievements. It avoids risks and it's about playing it safe. And the 9 to 5 also relies on one paycheck and for you to just hope one day you will get a raise. And so thinking about these things is important to realize like we've been conditioned to operate in this way for so many years, all right? It conditions you to trade your time for someone else's dream. It teaches you that security can only be found by staying inside this box where they tell you where to fit in, you know? Because even sometimes, like if you have this desire and you're like, I know it'll be so good for this role, yet you go out there, you're applying for the job, or maybe you're already in the company and you tell them this desire that you have and that your excitement for it, for the role, and yet they do nothing to really help you get there. Or they say like, oh, that's really nice. And they kind of like tread lightly about it. Like they make you feel like they're going to do something about it, but then they don't. And they keep you in longer and longer doing something that you don't even really want to do. And I speak of this because it's through my own personal experiences that I have had where they keep you playing small. And even when you want to aim high, a lot of times they tell you like now, not right now is not the time. Like you're not qualified enough or you're not worth being taught. those skills to get you to that point right now. Like what we need is for you to stay here, even though you may not like this position, or it may not be like something that you're super passionate about. We need you here. This is what we need from you. We don't really care too much about what you want or need. This is what must be done right now. And so it's important to realize that, because sometimes as an entrepreneur, we can be so hard on ourselves, and we're trying to operate our business from this type of mindset, and we're wondering why things are not quite flowing, or why things just feel so hard sometimes. And it's because there's a shift that needs to happen. And this is not to bash, working at a 9 to 5, because at the end of the day, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, like a 9 to 5 is a great tool. It's a great resource. It's a great stepping stone to get you to where you want to go. Like it's a great way to utilize this money that you get from your job, and use it to invest in yourself and in your business. And so I'm not saying that 9 to 5 is a bad place to be at, or that you shouldn't even be at a 9 to 5, because it can create a sense of stability for sure. Um, I'm not even saying here that you should just go ahead and quit your job and just go all in on a business, because everyone's situation is going to be different. Everyone's going through different things in their life. They have different responsibilities. So not everyone has that ability or capability to do that all of a sudden, right? Especially if you're caring for other people and other people are depending on you. You can't just make certain decisions like that all the time. So I just want to make that clear that that's not what I'm saying. I'm talking about the mindset part of it, and how we need to shift that so we can operate our businesses in a different way. Because that's why I want to show you what these conditionings have been for so long. Because the moment that you become aware, that's when true change can happen. And the thing is, more than likely, a majority of us have been operating from the 9 to 5 mindset. And again, this is not about shaming yourself or putting yourself down. It's about understanding that you have been trained, you have been programmed to be this obedient servant since you started school, since kindergarten, from kindergarten to middle school to high school, even in college. It has trained you to be this obedient servant to the 9 to 5 world, and hoping that it would keep you there. But the woman that I'm speaking to, she's the one that knows that she's more than just a 9 to 5. She knows that she has this fire inside her that wants to be expressed so badly, and a 9 to 5 is just not the space for it anymore, or it has never been the right space for it. And so that's why a lot of us have that desire and that pull in our heart that there has to be more to life than just a 9 to 5. And a lot of times when we're always operating in this 9 to 5 mentality, this is why we stay stuck in fear, why we stay stuck in perfectionism, why we, as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, we undercharge, we lowball ourselves, right? Have you ever been at work, at a job where you've been underpaid? Because raise your hand. Have you ever been in a job where you burned yourself out for what the job needs because they demanded it from you? Even if you had to be home to your kids, or maybe your mental health just wasn't up to par and they still pushed you, that they needed you to still do this. Have you ever negotiated your salary at a job? And so majority of you could probably relate to these questions that I have asked, you know, and this is why, like I said, this is conditioning. Like, oh, you have to ask for permission. You have to wait your turn. It's not your turn yet. I'll let you know when it's your turn. Like they're in control, right? And that's why we struggle with like speaking our voice sometimes, or we get in this mentality of like, every post that we make on Instagram or TikTok or wherever you are on social media has to be this perfect thing, or else, because we've been programmed to think that's the answer to success. That, oh, let me not ask for too much, because at a job, if you ask for too much, if you ask for a raise or whatnot, if you put yourself out there, it's not always taken very well, right? You could risk losing your job. So you're gonna be like, I'm not even going to ask. If they say this is what I should be paid, then this is what it is. I'll earn my way up, even though you are enough as you are and deserve it, and probably have plenty of proof, plenty of evidence to to show that you can ask for more. But we're not taught these things. If you think about it, we're not taught these things. We're not taught how to set boundaries at work. We're not taught how to speak up and ask for a raise. We're not taught to say no when it no longer is aligned with the job description, right? We're not taught these things. We're just taught to what? Obey. If they say this is what you must do, you better just do it, even if it's outside of your job description, right? And so then these behaviors start to trickle down into your business, right? So you hesitate to show up boldly. You start to second guess every move because you don't want to do it wrong. You don't want to get it wrong. Failing is bad. Getting it wrong is bad. Getting it wrong means you're not rewarded, you're punished. Like, that's the mentality that we're in for so many years. I mean, even in school, right? You're not rewarded for being necessarily different. Like, if you got an F on something, you're considered a failure, right? And so there's this underlying fear of failing, when in reality, failure is actually a part of success and is not something to be afraid of. If anything, it's fuel. It's fuel that you can utilize to transmute, to alchemize to something purposeful. It gives you a sense of direction. It's data that you're receiving, but we're not taught to think like that in school, because God forbid. And so what ends up happening with this 9 to 5 mentality is, like, you outsource your power and you wait to be validated, right, by somebody at work. Oh, good job. Oh, yes, Angie, thank you so much for doing, like, you wait for that validation. So then in your business, you also end up doing the same thing. You start to wait for the validation. By whom? By the algorithm, by a follower or a client. You wait to be validated by your bank account, what's showing up. Are you making money in your business? And if those things are not working out, then you feel like, oh, there's something wrong with me. I'm doing it wrong, because we're taught to outsource our power versus we we validate ourselves. We don't need anybody else to validate us. We validate ourselves. God already validated you. But by being in this mentality and this energy, this is what repels true success in your business. And this is what I want you to just start, like, thinking about, right? It's not something that happens overnight. You're not going to just flip a switch, because this has been a conditioning, like I said, since you were a kid. Since you were a kid, you've been conditioned to be this way. And so, with that in mind, not that it has to take now, 30 years to unlearn everything. No, but it is going to take a period of time to unlearn and break the habit of being your current self, so that you can start embodying that new version, so that you can start installing new beliefs, installing a new way of thinking, installing a new way of perceiving the world and the things that you do, installing a new identity, that you don't have to no longer operate in that old identity. You get to actually choose. And that's the exciting part. You have the power, but it's about remembering the power that you have that's already within you. And a lot of times when working at a 9 to 5, we forget about that because, again, we give up our power at a job. At a job, you can't just say, what you want. I mean, even if it's like respectful or whatnot, or even if you do share an idea, or if you know that the way that things are happening at work is not productive or effective, like you can bring it up, but it's not always like going to be taken into consideration because they're like, oh, well, you're kind of like beneath me. So we only hear for, the higher ups, whatever they say is what goes. And then you just have to just stay silent and obey. I've been in positions like that where I'm like, the work that I'm doing like literally makes no sense. Like we're wasting so much time. That's how I'm like thinking at work. I'm like, we're wasting so much time. Like if we just had this, and this, like we would condense all this work and be able to achieve so much more. But apparently I don't know anything. But that's how a job can make you feel at times, right? So that's why when it comes to building a business, there's a shift that needs to happen. So that way you're no longer in this 9 to 5 mentality. And so, how do we step into the spiritual CEO mindset? Because you got to remember, like now you're the one that's leading, right? Because a spiritual CEO doesn't wait; she leads. She doesn't obey man, but she obeys what purpose God has placed in her heart. So it's not just about building a business and it's not just about making money. Obviously, that's amazing. Like, that's an amazing reward to feel, right? But it's about embodying your purpose to be of service. So, something important that I want to bring up is that when you're in a 9 to 5, right, in the 9 to 5 mentality, the 9 to 5 mentality operates in the old formula. Okay. And I've mentioned this before. I've mentioned it. I talk about it a lot in one of my programs called Rich Queen Identity. I break it down in depth in there. But just to give you a summary of it, basically the old formula is about you need to do in order to have. And then once you have, then you become that thing that you desire. So it's all about hustle, being busy, like do. It's very masculine heavy. That you must do all these things, you have to earn it in order to have this. And then once you have this, once I see that you have the money, that you have the material things, then you've made it. Then you can be the millionaire. Then, well, maybe not at a 9 to 5, but you know what I mean. Then you can become the thing. Then you can call yourself this. But before then, you can't, you're not that you're not that, right? So it's do, have, and then you become. That's the old way of thinking. That's the old way of operating. But that's how in the 9 to 5 world, that's how they operate. Everything is about do. Now, as a spiritual CEO operates from a different formula. And it's not necessarily a new formula. It's always been here. It's about us remembering this formula that is within all of us, which is you become, then you do, and then you have. So basically, it means that you become the identity that you want to, that you desire, right? So the spiritual CEO, I am a spiritual CEO. Even if you are just starting out in your business, wherever you are, maybe you're still working at a 9 to 5 and you haven't even started anything yet, but you've thought about it. So it's about operating as that version of yourself that already has all the things. right? Because when you operate in that way, when you think in that way, then guess what? You start to take the action that that version of you would be taking in order to then have the things that you desire. So it's always about, and this is more of like the feminine side. You still need the feminine and the masculine together, but it's not always about taking action first. You have to first ask yourself, well, who is the version of me that's taking this action? Because then that's going to lead to the results. So first you need to be, do, and then have. Okay. And then this is how you break free from the old paradigm of thinking. This is how you break free from the matrix, is understanding this formula. And again, if you want to go deeper into this and understand it a little bit more, I have a program called Rich Queen Identity. It's a self-paced program. It's amazing. It even like breaks down like how to build basically your new identity, your new version of yourself. And it has like a journal and everything, videos that go with it as well to help you on that journey. And so I highly suggest it if you feel like you've been stuck in the 9 to 5 mentality and you really want to start building this new belief system within yourself, but you can't do it alone. You can't do it alone. Like you got to start taking action. You got to start like taking intentional action towards it. It's not just about sitting and thinking about it. It's also about doing certain things that are going to help you rewire yourself. And so that program is all about rewiring your mindset so you can get to that next level that you strongly desire. Okay, so I'll definitely leave the link below under the show notes. But the spiritual CEO mindset. So let's talk about what the mindset is for a spiritual CEO. So she basically creates her own rules, trusts in the God nudges. Basically, you know that you're not here to conform. You're not here to play small. You're not here to fit in a box. You're not here to hide behind a label. No, you're here to lead. You're here to innovate. You're here to disrupt. You're here to be who you are truly, like from the core, regardless of what the rules say. Like I said, you create your own reality, right? A spiritual CEO gives themselves permission. So they're not waiting to be chosen by somebody. No, they choose themselves every single day and they know that they are chosen for greatness. They are chosen for greatness. Say it with me. I am chosen for greatness today. Oof, how powerful is that? I am chosen for greatness today. I am chosen for greatness today. The spiritual CEO mindset embraces risks, invests in their growth, and plays for the long game. So you see, in the 9 to 5 world, it's not about taking risks. It's about safety, stability, and playing for the short term. Let me get instant gratification now. The spiritual CEO mindset understands delayed gratification. That is not always going to be instant results all the time. They're here for the long run. And they understand that when you're building something, you gotta plant certain seeds first for it to grow, right? The spiritual CEO acts before she feels ready. Even if she doesn't feel ready to take a certain action, even if she feels a little bit of fear or a lot of fear, she does it anyway. She trusts that if anything, the fear is showing her that she's about to break through something. And the fear diminishes, the doubt diminishes, the worry diminishes when you take the action, when you act as a version of you that already has the damn thing. That's why I say that the new formula, not that it's a new formula, but you know what I'm saying, that the formula, the OG formula, is about be, do, and then have. Like that order matters. It's not just about do, 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 do. and operate in stress and fear and worry, because then the results you're going to get are not going to be what you desire. But if you truly want to get what you desire, then you must be the version first that has all the things, meaning she acts before she feels ready. And then another point is a spiritual CEO mindset, they work smarter. They work smarter, not harder. They understand that rest is a strategy and that your time, your attention, your energy are the most valuable currency. You don't just give up your time to just anybody. You don't give access to yourself just to anybody. You understand how important it is to conserve that and to keep your inner circle tight, because not everyone deserves your presence and your energy and your attention. And so it's important to analyze that in your life, that you're not here to, like, you're the leader. You're the one here leading. So it's about you working smarter. Now at a job is a little bit different, right? They pull you in so many directions and then your energy is like all over the place. That sometimes you walk out of a job feeling drained as heck. When I used to work for one of my jobs, oh my God, I would be so drained that I would have to either take a nap, I would have to meditate. Like I couldn't keep up. And that's how drained I would be. I would just be like, what is life? I wouldn't even have the energy to do anything else after, because it would get that bad. But a spiritual CEO, she knows to protect her boundaries, her energy, and to work smarter. Another point here is busy work doesn't build empires. It's about rest and focusing on money making moves. That's what builds an empire. That's what builds a business. You don't need to do more. You just need to do what actually moves the needle forward in your business. And a lot of times you're going to notice that you get super distracted with so many things. You get like that, what is it, that shiny object syndrome thing. You're like, oh, there's this freebie. Oh, there's that thing. Oh, there's this strategy and this strategy and that strategy. Okay, let me try them all. And then guess what? You end up doing nothing or getting super overwhelmed. And then you're just like, it doesn't move anything forward. If anything, you're just doing a bunch of busy work and you're procrastinating from doing the things that actually matter in your business. And the spiritual CEO, they get paid for who they are. They know that they get paid for who they are and the problems that they solve, not so much hustle. It's not about hustling, hustling, hustling. No, they don't need to prove themselves to anybody. They know that they have a solution that they can help solve for somebody, and that they get to be paid well for it. And that they can also get paid for just being themselves, being their true, authentic selves. You don't even always have to take an action. Just you existing and showing up and being bold and being consistent and persistent will get you, will cause you to be magnetic, is the thing. You'll be so magnetic, the opportunities will just come to you without you even having to ask for anything. It will just appear. You'll get an email, you'll get a DM or a referral. Like things just start to happen when you operate in that way. And the spiritual CEO mindset is all about not putting all your eggs in one basket, like a job, right? A job is one source of income. And you stay stuck in that mentality, like this is the only way I can make money, only from a job. My baby's kicking right now. She's like agreeing with me. She's like, yes, mommy, go, go, mommy. Oh my God, that was awesome. But a spiritual CEO, the mindset that they have is about building multiple sources of multiple streams of income. It's not just about your business, it's also about investments and other different things to make the money circulate in your life. It's about becoming financially literate, which you're not taught at a job. And she understands the power of making her money work for her, not the other way around, which is a 9 to 5, you're working for money. No, as a spiritual CEO, the money is working for you. And so now you can see the massive difference, right, between the spiritual CEO mindset and then the 9 to 5 mentality, and how operating in the 9 to 5 is probably what is blocking those opportunities, those blessings that want to come into your life through your business, where you're stepping into your purpose, where you're stepping into and activating your God given talents, your God given gifts, because we all have them. We all have them. We all have a purpose here. But it's up to you to allow them to be activated, to allow them to be awakened. And it starts with awareness, right? Now you have this awareness. And so I want to share with you 3 shifts that you can start doing so that you can step into the CEO energy today. No more waiting. This is about implementation, because that's what I'm all about. Every program that I have created, or whenever you work with me, like, it's not just about giving you knowledge, it's about how can you now take action today? How can you take action now? Because that is the power. That is how you're going to move the needle forward in your business and in your life. Here are the 3 shifts that you can start making today to embody that CEO energy, even if you're still new, even if you're still just working at a 9 to 5 and you haven't really started anything with your business. That's fine. That's fine. It's about, when is the best time to start? Now. Now is the best time to start. So number 1 is start deciding. Just simply deciding. The power, there's so much power in making a decision. Like a CEO, stop waiting for clarity, stop waiting for an angel number or the synchronicities. Stop waiting for outside validation to make a bold decision. It's about just decide, just make the move, make the move. You can't get it wrong. You got to let go of the idea that you're going to get something wrong. No, because every decision you make is going to get you closer to the thing that you desire. It's a journey. It's about enjoying the journey, embracing the journey, embracing the lessons along the way as well. Think of it like a video game, right? When you're playing a video game, to get from each level, well, there's certain challenges that you're going to have to overcome along the way in order to get that prize, in order to get more powers and to move to the next level. Well, life is like that as well. It's not just given to you. Like, you have to make decisions and you just gotta move. And if you make a decision and it feels like, if you in your mind are like, oh, I made the wrong choice, stop using the word wrong. Like, eliminate that. You're not getting anything wrong. You're just gaining clarity. You're figuring out, you're figuring yourself out. You're learning stuff about yourself that you've never learned before. You're learning to use your intuition. Your next level is going to be activated by your obedience, not by being perfect. God doesn't even want you to be perfect. You don't need to be perfect in order to be loved by God. God already loves you as you are. You are enough now. You don't have to wait to have all these certifications to be in your purpose. No, you can be in your purpose now. So start deciding. And it can be so simple, the decisions that you have to make. Like, I used to really struggle to, because remember, how you do one thing is how you do everything. And so in my personal life, I used to really struggle to decide where to go eat. I would always have my boyfriend decide for me. I'm like, oh, I don't know. What do you want? Like, I wouldn't say what I actually wanted. Like, I actually was struggling to decide because I didn't want to choose the wrong restaurant or whatnot. And it's like, I eventually started just making decisions. And I was like, okay, no, I want this place today. Like if he asked me what I wanted, I said what I wanted. And it's a thing, it can seem so small, so small, but it has helped me make more bolder decisions for myself. Because if you know my story, like I'm not going to go in depth right now about it, but I used to really struggle to speak my voice. And by making these slight decisions in my life, it trickles into other areas as well. So remember, right? How you do one thing is how you do everything. Now, number two, another action that you can start taking now is auditing your daily habits. Remember, change starts with awareness. If you're not aware of what you need to change, then you're just going to be walking around blindly. If you want to think like a CEO, you have to live like one. So, starting with how you move throughout your day is what you want to start analyzing. So, these are some things that you can start asking yourself now. Am I waking up and reacting to the day, or am I creating with intention? Who am I being when I work on tasks in my business? Am I operating in my confident CEO energy, or am I a stressed out assistant? Who am I when I'm taking action in my business? Am I spending most of my time on busy work, or on actual money making activities that are going to move the needle forward in my business? Is my health a priority, or am I burning myself out in the name of hustle? And what kind of content am I consuming? This one's important. Is it elevating me, or is it draining me? Because remember, on your feed, on your social media, you're in control of what you see every single day. If something is triggering you, or it's giving you negative vibes or whatnot, putting you in a bad mood, then you get to choose who you follow on your social media and what you see on there. And so it's about being mindful of the things that you are consuming and how they're making you feel and how that is affecting you on a day-to-day basis. These are daily choices that are either going to anchor your CEO identity, or is going to reinforce the employee mindset, the 9 to 5 mindset. You get to choose, but now you're aware. So you can't run from this now. You've become aware, you're now activated to it. So now you know what you can do. You know what steps to take next. And so the third thing to anchor into the future identity is by journaling. You can journal on this and elaborate a little bit more. So asking yourself, like, if I were already a millionaire, let's just put it that way, right? If I'm already a millionaire, how would I show up today? How would I be responding to this challenge or event that appeared in my life? What should I stop tolerating? Or what have I been tolerating that is time to put an end to because it's no longer serving my millionaire self? What are the things that I would say if I was already a millionaire? What would that version of me already be saying on camera? Or what type of things would she be posting already? What type of things would she be selling? This is how we collapse timelines, okay? This is the secret to how we collapse timelines, making decisions, auditing your daily habits, and then asking yourself, like, how does this version of me actually show up in the world? And again, if you want to dive deeper into the identity work of it, I have a program called Rich Queen Identity, self-paced. I think it's only like 4 or 5 modules. It's potent and it's going to shift you. And it also comes with its own journal to help you take you to the next level, know how to write your new identity, rewrite your new story. So it's amazing. I love it. It has helped me collapse time and shift into my new versions of myself. And so again, I'll put in the show notes down below. But yeah, like I was saying, like this is how we collapse timelines. This is how we step into that next level by becoming the version of us who already holds the vision. And yes, I'm going to be honest with you. Sometimes that means doing the scary thing. Sometimes, yeah, it means posting that bold message that you're like, oh my God, people are going to unfollow me. Like, oh my God, I'm so scared. They're going to feel so triggered. You know, sometimes it means doing the scary things like raising your prices because you've been lowballing yourself. God didn't say for you to be broke. No, abundance is your birthright. You know this. Abundance is your birthright. So act like it. Sometimes it means doing the scary things like saying no to misaligned clients, not just saying yes to anybody to come into your world. Saying no to misaligned opportunities and experiences that just don't serve you anymore. Maybe they served your old self. And there's going to be a period of grieving that old version as you step into this new level. But that's the CEO energy. That's the CEO vibe that you want to start embodying. Your business doesn't grow when you get better. It grows when you get bolder. When you decide that you are enough now. So this is your reminder here that you're not here to be liked and to fit in. That's boring. If you're in my world, that's boring. Expression is your medicine and our medicine too. Like it's an energy exchange, a beautiful energy exchange. And you're here to be paid and seen and divinely used so that you can be of service and play out the purpose that you were brought here to do. Like I said, God has given us all a purpose. We all have a purpose seed inside of us. Now, whether you water it or not, that's up to you because He also gave us free will. So, if you want any help with stepping into your CEO identity and start taking certain actions in your business, then I have this amazing service called the Brand Business Audit. This is where you kind of get like that one-on-one experience with me where I audit your business. I look over your offers, whatever your I help statement is. I look through different, even your content, and I give you some feedback on like what are some things that we can shift here. Like what's the vibe that you want to give off, and are you giving off that vibe? I can help see like what the blind spots are in your business and the money leaks as well. So I highly suggest that you sign up for that. I'll again put it in the show notes, the link. And then, of course, I'll include the other ways to work with me as well. So if you enjoyed this episode, definitely leave a comment below on what was your aha moment. What really landed for you, what shifted inside of you. I would love to know. You can also tag me, take a screenshot and tag me on Instagram at I am Angela Gomez. I love seeing that you guys are watching the show and you're feeling connected. But yeah, definitely like, subscribe, and until next time, so stay bold, stay rich, and let's keep flipping the script.